morning and welcome back to South Nutfield on a lovely sunny day. Still on lockdown, I'm afraid, but never mind, we'll get there. Now, today I'm going to make a personal favourite of mine. It's a childhood memory. My good friend Dr. Keith Hudless suggested that I make this. He's being a good Yorkshireman, he gave me his mother's, Anita's recipe, so I'm pretty much using her recipe. So it's going to be a mixture of cottage and shepherd's pie, because there's a little bit of toing and froing, but I've got mixed beef and lamb, so it's a bit of shepherd's pie, if you like. But it's a wonderful pie. I know you're going to enjoy it. So without further ado, let's go through the ingredients I'm using today. And if you can look in here, I'm going to use first of all, I've got a large onion which I'm going to fry off, and with it I've got some carrots and turnips or swede. It's a bit of a contentious issue in our house. My mother always called them turnips, and everybody else calls them swede. I've got some baked beans, which is another contentious issue. Sometimes people like to add some peas, but in our family we like a few baked beans in it. Some cheese for the topping of the mix when it goes in there, and I've got about 500 grams of minced beef and lamb. And I'm going to cook that off in a minute, and with it I'm going to I've got some 500 mils of beef stock using Marmite. You can use beef stock cubes or whatever, you can use bones if you wanted to, but not many people would. So that's Marmite. A little bit of ketchup instead of tomato puree because I haven't got any. Another particular favourite of mine, Lee and Perrin sauce, some white pepper and salt, and I've got about 1 kilo of mashed potatoes there to go on top. As you can see, they're already mashed. Some butter, a bay leaf, and a little bit of rosemary. So without further ado, I'm going to crack on and get started. First thing to do is put the pan on, fairly moderate heat. We'll put just a little bit of oil with the pan, and then I'm going to add the meat. Because it's a number of processes in this. It's going to do a few things at a time. So let's just start with the meat. Now put the meat in the pan. Now the main thing to remember with meat when you're cooking is don't mess about with it. Let it get some caramelization. And let it get some colour. It's heating up nicely. So we're going to add that in here, like so. Very simple, straightforward. There we have the beef and lamb mixture. Now, as I said, don't mess around too much with the meat, just let it fry off, get some nice caramelisation and colour. So once we've done that, we're going to take it out and we're going to drain it of all the fat. But first of all, let's cook it so that the water content gets out of it. So let's hope so. It's bubbling away nicely. Just make sure it stays in there. I'm not going to mess about with it too much. And then it's ready to go. So it's about 4 or 5 different processes in this. So we're going to cook it first, put it together, then put it in the oven and finish it in the oven with a nice cheese topping. So we'll just give it a quick stir. You can see now that the fat is blending out and the water is just steaming off, so that's good. You get it a good bit of colour. Cooking for about 5 or 10 minutes now just to get some colour and render the fat out of it. There's always a lot of fat in lamb, so you can see it's got some colour to it. Now then, I'm going to just drain this off in the colander. Ow! Oh, sorry, I just got spat at by a bit of hot fat. So just drain it off in the colander, get rid of the fat that just spat at me. Never mind, Christopher, you'll be alright with it.
Don't worry about me.
The cameraman will be fine. Right, so we'll leave that for a minute now to drain. You can just see it just draining off into the sink there. Now, next thing is to saute the onions. Now, I'll leave it now and I'll put a little drop of oil in, because there's still a bit in there. Now, it's interesting enough, this is a recipe given to me by Keith Hudlis from Leeds. Now, another Leeds boy did a recipe I saw the other day called Marco Pierre White, but the other recipe from Marco had garlic in it, which I find very, very peculiar. Good Yorkshire lad putting garlic in shepherd's pie, never, never, never. Marco, I think you're wrong on that one. So we'll just quickly saute off our onions, get nice and soft. Then we'll add some flavour to it in a minute. Can you see it's starting to colour nicely, lovely. Just so it softens, so then we'll put the meat back in it. Now, drain that fat off the meat. I'm going to put the meat back in with the onions. So there we go. Put our meat back in. Oops. Drained. Oh, it's a bit steamy. So now we start building our flavour. The first thing we're going to add is some Worcester sauce. A good sprinkling of Worcester sauce. I rather like it. A touch of ketchup or puree if you haven't got some tomato puree, you can always use it. Mix them together. Now at this stage, I'm going to add the stock in a minute. Now I've used some Marmite beef stock, so that's going to go in. Just add that in. Smell again is just starting to be delicious. So we'll add that in. Oh, sorry, I'm going to add my herbs in as well. My bay leaf, which I will cover later on, and a bit of homegrown rosemary. Just a few mixed herbs, not a lot, give a bit of flavour. So we're now putting the rest of the stock, like so. Now I'm going to add my vegetables. Now I'm using carrot and swede, some baked beans. The baked beans are going last, so these going. I'm not going to put them all in, but I'll put just a few in, about half in. That should be alright. So there it is, carrot and turnips, swede or turnips, whatever you want to call it. So that's now bubbling in the pan, lovely, beautiful. A little bit of seasoning. Salt and pepper, a few grinds of the sea salt, and a little bit of white pepper. I like white pepper, and I don't like black pepper in shepherd's pie. So it's starting to smell lovely now. So there we have the base of it. Now I think we're just going to leave it to cook for about 30 minutes and come back later with some more. Now that it's been cooking for about 25 minutes now, nicely cooked down, I've added the baked beans to it, just because at the last minute. I'm just going to remove the bay leaf, because we don't want that in there, so we'll leave that out of there. Now that's so, I'm going to put it into the dish now. I'm using a nice round dish. So this is lovely, it smells beautiful, taste it as well, it's nicely seasoned with salt and pepper. It's looking good. It's smelling good, I tell you that. I'm sure Marco would like it, even though it's got baked beans in it, no garlic. I can't believe that good Leeds boys put garlic in shepherd's pie. Goodness me. So let's try and put that in there. I might be able to save a bit. No, maybe not.
For our dinner.
No, we're not. I mean, we'll have it for lunch and dinner. There we go. So let's put that down. So there we've got the mince cooked beautifully in there. Now we're going to top it with mashed potato with a little bit of cheese on top, then pop it in the oven for about 15 to 20 minutes. Now this is just ordinary plain mashed potato with some butter and some cream. So I'm just going to put it onto there in pieces. Then we're going to fork it over. It's sitting quite nicely, so it's not bad at all. It's still slightly warm, which makes it a bit more easier to push around. That was nice. Now I'm just put a bit of cheese on top now. My wife normally likes a few tomatoes on top, but that's very contentious in this household. Not to be done. But it's a lovely dish, and you can make it your own. Add a few peas or a few beans or anything else you like, and the flavour is just absolutely fabulous. We've got all that lovely Leon Perrins, which I think is the most fantastic invention. It's been around for quite a long time. The Americans call it Worcestershire sauce. So that should fit nicely with my fork. And just very simply push it out. Don't push too hard because you don't want it coming through. I just want a nice covering on top of it. That's good. It's coming nicely. Push it to the edges when you can, so it makes a sort of perfect seal if you can. There we go. It's coming around nicely, and I like to make a little pattern on top. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and across. If you're doing it square, you could do it so you could have portions. Now, the last thing you do is just add a little bit of cheese on top of it, then pop it in the oven for about 15 to 20 minutes till it's nice, melted and golden and ready to go. It's about 100 grams of cheese. Don't put too much on. You don't need too much. Right, so I'm ready to pop it in the oven. My preheated oven at 180 for about 20 to 25 minutes. Right, now it's been cooking now for about 25 minutes, and as you can see, as it comes out of this oven, it's perfectly lovely and brown and golden. Although not golden enough for some people, I might say, on the camera. But there you go. That is my take on shepherd's pie, or it's mixed into the cottage and shepherd's. So however you want to call it, whatever you like. Now, it's one of my favourites. It was a boyhood favourite of mine. My mother made beautiful shepherd's pie, and my grandmother as well, who was a butcher. So we always had some good products to go with it. Now, I'm just going to serve it out here. Have a look at it. Here we go. Look at that. Look at that. Beautiful shepherd's pie. A little bit of filling on the side. And the final bit of it is the proof of the pudding's in the eating. So let me just try a little bit and see what we feel. Oh, I love shepherd's pie. Takes me back to those golden days as a child growing up in Yorkshire. Keith Hoodless, thank you very much for your mother's recipe. Thank you very much for suggesting it. And if any of you others have any good ideas, please let me know. So stay safe and see you on YouTube. Bye.